session of the Intergalactic Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Balasar, and these are the adventures of two wannabe geeks who traverse non-existent lands, who build relationships among all races and classes, who want $25 press passes to Comic-Con because they've never been before. As I said, this is the third session of the Lost Minds of Phandelver. This is unofficial fan content permitted under the fan content policy, not approved nor endorsed by Wizards. Portions of the materials used are property of Wizards of the Coast. Copyright Wizards of the Coast, LLC. Meet our newest players. The first is Morthos, a tiefling warlock whose family was murdered that morning by goblins, goblinoids of some kind. Next to him, Femella Stormwind, human fighter, whose family was also murdered that morning by goblins of some kind. Strong, dual wields in a long sword and a warhammer. The party agrees with Silas Halwinter to find Krogmaw Castle and clear it of goblins and such for 500 gold pieces, hopefully rescuing Gundren along the way. Being led down a footpath by the captured goblin, they evade a group of 5 or 6 orcs that are heading in the opposite direction. Silas, meanwhile, heads back to Phandalin on the ox-pulled wagon of supplies, as he is recovering from his beating and has no armor or weapons anymore. His gear was sent away with Gundren. Number 5. Later, at a 3-way crossroad, they encounter 2 people coming down the path, Femella Stormwind and Morthos. They are noticeably agitated and looking for goblin blood. They want to kill the goblin, but the party says they can't. Quietly, they promise they can kill it later. The goblin gets suspicious. They find Krogmaw Castle at mid-afternoon and send Balasar the druid as a rat to explore. The castle consists of 7 crumbling towers of different sizes and heights, but the upper stories are all at varying states of collapse. A short flight of stairs leads up a terrace in front of the main entryway. Past the wreckage of a pair of sundered doors lies a shadowed hall. Round towers loom over the entryway, with dark arrow slits looking down out of the terrace. Number 1. They use the message cantrip to stay in touch. Can you hear me now? To which Varys says, good. Balasar finds some goblins, but isn't very thorough or cautious while he wanders around eating as much rotten food as possible. Number 2. Doors stand closed to the north and south, with a crumbling mound of rubble partially obscuring the southern hall. To the east, a broad corridor ends in 2 more doors leading south and east. The corridor is cluttered with dusty rubble and fallen plaster from a partial collapse of the ceiling overhead. Number 3. This small room is littered with debris. The arrow slits opposite the door offers a fine field of fire over the terrace in front of the castle gates. Number 4. The southwest tower of the castle is little more than a heap of rubble. Several ragged bedrolls are scattered across the remaining floor space, and a small, twisting passage leads east through the ruins. Number 5. Old casks of salted meat and sacks of rotting grain fill the storage area. Among the supplies, you see a bloody suit of chainmail, a heavy crossbow, and an unsheathed longsword with the emblem Neverwinter worked into its hilt. Number 6. 4 plain straw pallets and bedrolls are lined up on the floor of the barracks. Brackets on the wall hold a number of weapon spears, swords, morning stars, and more. The north wall shows signs of damage, but the floor is swept clean of rubble. Balasar Number 7. The western portion of this large hall ends in a wall of rubble, but the remainder is still intact. This must once have been the castle's banquet hall. with a soaring ceiling 25 feet high. Two large wooden tables with plain benches stand in the middle of the room, and a brass brazier full of glowing coals is tucked into one corner. Dirty dishes, half-full stew pots, and moldy heels of bread and odd bones cover the table to which Balasar enjoyed munching on. Number 8. This high, narrow hall looks as fit it might have been a chapel or shrine at some time. Angelic figures are sculpted along the room's upper reaches, looking down on the floor below. To the north, heavy curtains block a matching pair of archways. Between the archways is a cracked but ornately carved stone brazier. Number 9. This chamber occupies the northern tower of the castle. A stone altar stands in the middle of the room, covered with blood-stained black cloth. Golden ritual implements, a chalice, a knife, and a censer are all carefully arranged on top of the altar. Two archways to the south are covered with heavy curtains. Balasar wanders into the kitchen, where he is spotted by the fat goblin. Two goblins give chase. He evades one, but is caught by the other. Balasar turns back into a dragon and gets shot by the goblin arrow. The party rushes in to save him from becoming rat stew. Until next time, thank you again for watching our third session, and if you would be so kind, please consider donating to my Patreon account, patreon.com/intergalactic neutral zone, or subscribing to my YouTube channel. Until next time, adios.